Parker, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Pleasure to be here.
So Parker, I think it would be helpful if you shared the story of Salesforce during this pandemic environment. How has it affected your organization and its world focus?
Sure. So, I think it started in late January and February. Actually, our CEO, Mark Benioff, started telling us, you might want to start gathering your supplies, getting, enough toilet paper, enough, medicines, etc. Because, he thought things were going to get worse. Of course, none of us listened, and lo and behold, it happened to all of us. The world shut down. Salesforce, well, California especially shut down very early, but Salesforce was very proactive, and we shut all our offices pretty much immediately in early March, and basically locked the doors and made sure no one could go in. And because we are a software company, an enterprise software company, 21 years old, our business is naturally, it lends itself naturally to the digital world, and we're used to working online. I've had lots of meetings that were online, so the shift to work from home at first, technically, it was not difficult. We all went into our homes. We got online, whether it was Zoom, Hangouts, WebEx, we were using it all. But it was, I think the first thing that we did as a company is we said, wow, this is a big shift. Let's check on our employees. Let's make sure, first and foremost, our employees are doing well. And the biggest issue we saw was mental health. That, and I'm sure students experience this, we all do, that when the crisis hit and that, the uncertainty, the fact that it was such a global event, that's a big deal. And so, and people, especially with young children or people that live alone, they don't all have the right support systems to try to work from home, homeschool their kids. Lack of social interaction in many cases, all of that kind of can lead to issues. So we started doing a lot of things online, focusing on our employees, providing online meditation sessions, providing online webinars from doctors, and trying to provide content out to our employees. We also started a weekly all hands for the whole company. And we're a fairly large company now. We're over 50,000 employees worldwide. We had an all hands for 50,000 plus people. Early on, we had, not all 50,000, but maybe close to 30,000 people were listening online. And it was a way to share information. It was a way to communicate. We felt that over communicating was super important. And then we shifted to looking at our communities, and we part of what Salesforce believes in ever since we started the company is that the business of business is making the world a better place, and that we're well positioned in some cases to help. And in California, UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, has a big medical center we're very close to. They needed PPE, personal protection equipment. And so we saw that it wasn't happening through the government. We weren't, able to get it that way. And so we leveraged some of our partnerships. We have a partnership with Alibaba in China. And we got into the PPE business. We had planes flying from China. Alibaba was helping us find partners in China that could manufacture and source that, flying them back to the United States, getting trucks, and we were providing PPE not only to California, but we shipped it to New York, into Indianapolis. We had partners in that. Uber helped us. Walmart helped us with trucks. So we had not only us, but partners. So, it was employees, and then it was the community, and then the third was our customers. And we started focusing on showing our customers what we were doing, showing them how we were worried about mental health and some of the resources we were providing. We made that more publicly available, some of the content. We created offerings using our technology. Employees had lots of questions, like, you know, what about, home health care? What about, child care? Benefits? Employees had tons of questions. Fielding those questions, well, actually, our service works well for that. We provide customer relationship management. You point that at employees, it's relationship management of a different sort. And so we created technology to help with this, to help our customers. We then shifted from, wow, this is like we're in a pandemic, and to, all right, well, how are we going to actually work? I think we've all learned a lot studying. I've been very involved with Middlebury and how to shift academics to an online world. Well, shifting work to an online world also is hard, as well as how, and this was actually early on, no one knows how long this will last, but how do we get people back to work? And we started studying, well, how do people do contact tracing if people are sick? How could our technology help with that? How would our real estate change? How would the lobbies of our buildings change? You're gonna need the equivalent of a Disney pass to say you can enter the lobby of our buildings at this time, and the elevator's gonna have 4 people, and you're gonna have to go to a desk that has nothing on it because it needs to be cleaned every night. So basically, how do we work? And so, and that's a long answer, Jeffrey, but I would say that Salesforce, first and foremost, led with its values through this, thinking about our employees, our community, our customers. We, gave our time and our treasure in support of that, which was a lot of work and actually a lot of money too, and which was not not helpful to our bottom line, but helpful, in basically how did we behave, or how are we behaving in the middle of this crisis? And I think we all want to look back and feel like we've done the right things. And finally, I think we've leveraged the crisis in a way to innovate, to rethink. We're a big event-based event marketing organization where we do lots of physical events around the world, and I have a giant one in San Francisco called Dreamforce every year, where we have 150,000 people come. Well, there's going to be no events in person anytime soon. What does marketing look like in a non-physical event-based world? How do we change that? How do we change our products?
Thank you, Parker. I'm just curious if you could comment just very briefly on, has being a global enterprise been helpful in coping with this situation?
Has it been helpful? Well, I guess in some ways it's been helpful because we have a view across the world. Like, we can see what's happening. Like, we had people going back to work at the earliest in South Korea. They also started going back to work slowly in Japan. So we could see kind of the landscape across the world on a daily basis, and we were getting reports. So that was helpful. Being a multinational corporation, we definitely have the relationships with a lot of CEOs, so that also was helpful. Many of those CEOs are CEOs of healthcare companies, of pharmaceutical companies. So we were also getting intel what's going on in the world of healthcare, how people treating this virus, how are they coping in the hospital systems, and how could we help. But at the same time, the flip side is there's also challenges to being such a large company. Is how do we take care of all of those employees all over the world, all of our office space? How do we make sure that they have the help that they need, to get through this, the technology they need, and that we're aware. And I think that's why it's kind of ironic. We felt like and still do, a smaller company because in the middle of this, because we had to kind of pivot really hard to communicating more, which, having an all hands for the entire company every week for 2 hours is a lot of time for not only the management team who's hosting it, but also all of the attendees. We found that to be hugely important to connect and listen. We answer questions on that, but we also provide amazing speakers, and we also use it as a way to educate our employees on what we do and how we're serving our customers, new technology. So it was a way to, we use the word enablement is a big word inside of Salesforce. You could also call it education. And that is hugely important. And it's surprising to many people that when they realize, wow, not everybody knows everything about, employees of Salesforce don't know everything that they need to know, and that there's no end to the need to communicate and educate.